Hello, and welcome back to Spider's Corner. Today's topic, rats as pets. I know you're probably thinking, why in the world would anybody want a rat as a pet, right? Well, I'm here to lay it all in front of you so you have a better understanding of the history of rats as pets and some general knowledge on their feeding habits and their health issues. Contrary to what people think about rats, they make wonderful pets, and believe it or not, they're just as clean as a cat. When people think of rats, they think of a nasty, dirty varmint that's overtaken their barn, their shed, or even their basement. They don't realize that there's such things as domesticated rats. During the 16th century, brown rats colonized most of Europe. Brown rats are where we get our domesticated rats from. These brown rats should not be confused with black rats. The black rat is the brown rat's cousins that carried fleas and started the Black Plague. The brown rats were so much bigger than the black rats that they took over, and the black rats pretty much went extinct. For the excuse me, in the 1800s, a new game was developed using rats. It was called rat baiting. For this game, the people would catch as many rats as possible and drop them into a pit. And then a terrier dog was dropped into the pit. The timekeeper would keep track of the time until the last rat was killed by the dog. And then everybody placed their bets on how long it took the dog to kill all the rats. Whoever guessed the right time would win the cash. Eventually, the game was ended with a decree, but only after about 70 years of rat baiting. Somewhere along the line, somebody decided to keep a rat as a pet, and it became a trend. Rats make the most precious pets. They're fun, they're clean, they're humanly interactive, and very affectionate. And did you know you can even train a rat to sit, to stay, to come when you call its name, or even use a litter box? So now some of the things I like to discuss is their feeding habits. Their food that they eat, they'll eat just about anything that a human will eat. But you can buy rat food right from your pet store. But other things that rats like are little treats, and you can find all kinds of treats at the pet stores also. Some of the treats we buy for our rats are little yogis. These are just little candy kisses, kind of like. There's little strawberry kisses, and there's little cheese ones. Or you can get things like, now these I have to hide from Jasper T because these are his Christmas presents. These are going in his Christmas stocking. But they've got little croissant treats. Oh, they love these things. And then we've got them little chews, like these are some cheese chews. And we have some rock and roll chews for them. Little guitar, microphone. The feeding, you can buy little bowls like this to fit right in their cage. But I prefer to use a bigger bowl like this, something a little heavier, because then it's not so much easier to tip over, which it's not hard for them to tip one of these little things over when they get bigger. Their water bowl is pretty much like this, and it's got a little ball bearing in the bottom here so the water doesn't leak out. This attaches right to the side of the cage. The cage, this is just a single rat cage here. This one here, this one that we kept Izzy in when he was around. We've got a little slot, a little shelf. It's got a little hole where you can put the bowl inside, and the water attaches right to this little clip on the side here. So that's the housing. Noisy housing. And then for the bedding for the housing, you can get these little pellets. I don't know if I can really get to see these, but there's this little pellets here that they keep the smell of their feces down. You just lay a small layer of that on the bottom of your housing, and then you just take some stuff like this here, which is the bedding itself, which is just pretty much like shredded up newspaper, paper, whatever, and that just goes over top, and that soaks up. So it keeps their house smelling pretty good and everything. Rats they don't cost much to have. You can get a rat from a pet store for like $6. Unless you want a classy rat, you can go to a breeder. They might charge you like $20. A small cage is sufficient for a single rat. If you have more than one, we actually had 6 females at one time. So we bought this cage. It was like a 3-layer cage. You can use a glass aquarium with a screen top, but I highly suggest you avoid that because of the harmful vapors. You know, it doesn't just air out. The vapors are very harmful to rats. Rats don't have an immune system, so they're prone to a lot of issues. There are bacterial skin infections, bacterial lung infections, brain tumors, bloody noses, ear infections, bronchitis, and even pneumonia. So you should always try to keep your rat's house clean, at least once to every 3 days. Actually, is a good idea. And keep their food, keep them healthy. Don't give them the sugar. Don't give them caffeine. Don't give them carbonated drinks. But they'll eat anything a human eats, and they love food. Believe me. Now, the next thing I'd like to do is I'm going to break down and introduce you to my buddy and my friend, Jasper T. Ladies and gentlemen, Jasper T. Sitting here on my shoulder, eating in one of his little yogis. They are so lovable and adorable. You can't help but to love them. They're such a good time. They love to show their affection. They're very playful. This little guy likes to play. He sleeps with us. He eats with us. He goes everywhere with us. He's our bud. He's very curious, so he probably won't stay here too long. He's going to want to run around, especially in my office. But this is my little buddy, Jasper. And you gotta just love these little guys, you know? They're just so adorable. Can't help it. The more the merrier. So, until you have a rat, you'll never really understand what a rat is about. They're just like a dog, yet they're very intelligent, very smart, and fun. And they love human interaction. This little guy follows me everywhere I go. He's in my office, so he just wanted to bounce around here now. So, that's Jasper T. A couple items I would like to add is that the life expectancy of a rat is only 2 to 4 years. I know that don't sound good, especially when you get attached to them, but the way I see it, I give that rat 2 to 4 years the best life it could have had. Who knows? It might have ended up snake food. And that, my friend, is something I don't like to hear about. When it comes to the health issues, vets are pretty good at helping your rat. Antibiotics are probably the most common medicine given for a rat's health issues. When it comes to males, also known as bucks, and the females known as does, the males tend to be more relaxed around humans. A male rat will be like a big lap dog, as to where the female will be busy running around the house curious. When you go out and buy a pet rat, look for the one that immediately comes to you. Avoid the scared or jitterish ones. The more time you spend with your rat, and the more you handle it, the more it will be used to you, and the more it will want to interact with you. So now that we know more about rats, their feeding habits, their housing, their health issues, their intelligence, and their affection to humans, we can see why these little furry creatures bring so much love and joy to the home. They are great with kids, and they very seldom bite, if they bite at all. And now I say this to you. If you could allow yourself to spend a little time with a rat, you would understand why they make such good pets. Take a trip down to your local pet store and just ask to hold one for a few minutes and see if it doesn't find a way into your heart. Thank you for watching, and may the rat be with you.